Good afternoon, everyone. Now that we've come through what has been a very successful and busy peak, and even though we are still in the middle of a very busy sale and challenging stock taking period, I know that your attention will have reverted back to thinking about the new customer assistant role and how we will transition to new ways of working. Firstly, I just wanted to put two things into perspective for us. When we go through a change programme that is as big as impacting over 200 partners in our shop, everything is not going to change overnight. We are not going to walk out of the branch on the 18th of January and everything be different on the 19th of January. It is just not possible and not feasible. We will have to go through a period of transitioning and learning all of the skills that need to be learnt to fulfil the customer assistant role. Secondly, we have always said that we don't want the initial change to be disruptive, and we will not force change for the sake of forcing change. We want to continue to play to everybody's strengths, and we are not going to take experts from one area and put them somewhere where they're not so skilled initially, just for the sake of doing that. So we will continue to use everybody's strengths, but what we have to appreciate that as we look to the future, we need to have a branch of customer assistants that are capable and are able to demonstrate the skills required of the new customer assistant role. Now, what that isn't is operational partners learning new skills like tills and adding to the job that they already do, or selling partner learning new skills like ticket printing and putting away stock and adding to what they already do. What we need to think about is a group of customer assistant partners where we have broken down the barriers between what a selling and operations partner should or can do, and recognise or envisage that group of customer assistants being able to do all of the activity that is required of us in a branch, whether that be task-based activity or customer-based activity, or being able to do both at the same time. So what we've done through alignment very successfully is ensure that we have the right people in the right place at the right time. We have gone from being 70% aligned to the new operating model to nearly 90% aligned to the new operating model when we look at partner resource versus activity that needs to happen. Now what we need to work on is ensuring that all of us can do the activity that is required at the time of the day when we are in the shop. So in the morning, pre-trade, that will very much look like focusing completely on direct to shelf, ticketing, any counts that need to happen, and any pure change work like moving of fixtures that need to happen. As we then go into the trading period of our day, we will align ourselves to two different work streams. So previously, we have had an operations work stream and a selling work stream, and we have been very successful in ensuring real flexibility in those two work streams. What we will have now is a ground floor work stream and a first floor work stream. Now, ground will encompass geographically what is around them, and first will encompass geographically what is around them. That will include the second floor, the third floor, etc. And what we will need to see through embedding the customer assistant role is complete flexibility between the partners in those work streams that will allow us to complete all of the activity that needs to happen on a daily basis in each of those work streams. Now, I'd also just like to remind you, and I know that lots of you have started the customer assistant training, and I hope you also believe that we have done a good job of trying to facilitate and bring some of that training to life through a practical element and not just theory on Workday. The skills that are required of a customer assistant are not knowing everything in the whole shop or within your work stream. There are some core skills that are expected of a customer assistant in each work stream, and those are the modules that you're working through now. There are then some task-specific skills which we will shortly have some additional training on, but will not be an expectation or a requirement. We will need to fulfill all of the activity that happens in our shop, and we will need to have partners that are trained to do all of that activity. But there is some really specialised activity that happens in the shop. So asking someone to help a customer in toys is very different to asking someone to be knowledgeable enough to help a customer in large electrical. Asking someone to put out stock in gifts is very different from asking someone to work through some of the logistics or markdown processes or returns processes that we action on the third floor. So to be really clear, everybody is not expected to know how to do everything, but there is a basic expectation of all of our customer assistants in the shop. Now, to support the learning and to support the model and to support the fair distribution of activity, selling or operational, across those work streams, we've re-looked at our DBM responsibilities and our leadership team responsibilities. And what you will see emerging is a group of leaders that are working much more closely together in those streams to ensure that the activity that needs to happen happens in those streams. And as I've said already, part of the purpose of doing the alignment process was to ensure that we had the right people at the right time in those streams to do that activity. Now, for some people, this change is really, really exciting. It gives people the opportunity to do more and to learn more. And don't forget, we've got some partners in our shop that are doing this already. So through our Christmas temp recruitment, we took on some partners that have done the customer assistant role in some way, shape or form already. I also appreciate that this can feel very challenging, or people may be feeling anxious about the change. What I want to assure you of is that there will be support there for you all of the way through the transition. And moving to the customer assistant role does not mean that we are negating any of the reasonable adjustments that anyone has in place at the moment that support them to contribute to the branch activity and branch success. So it will feel challenging, and We will get things wrong. We are all learning together. But ultimately, what we're doing here is evolving a affordable way of working. That means we are working more efficiently and doing the task that is required when it is required to ensure we get the optimal output from the energy that we put in so that we can make our branch as successful as possible. And not just our branch, all of our branches will be going through this transition at the same time. So I'm going to stop there for now. We will be sharing lots more information with you. I wanted to say a big thank you to those of you that have engaged with the training so far, and those of you that have actually started branching out into activity that you wouldn't have normally done. And I also think there is a moment here to acknowledge what we already do really well, which is actually what the customer assistant role is. We have brilliant partners in the shop that are currently operations partners that already do a great job of serving and helping our customers. And we all have partners in the branch now that we class as selling partners that also contribute to the task activity that happens in our shop. And through simpler ways of working, we've pushed those boundaries slightly further. So please recognise how far we've come already. Please feel free to ask any of us any questions about what is to come. But we will now start to share with you as much as we possibly can about new ways of working and the customer assistant role expectation. But it will be a journey that we go on together. I think it's really exciting. It won't be without its bumps, but I really look forward to going on that journey with you.